So in this demonstration, I'm going to show you how to use your credential management tool, which is going to create, manage user attributes in your identity and access management solution, and then programmatically send those attributes across to Zscaler and apply policy. So we'll go into this in a bit of detail, but consider that rather than using account information that might say department attributes or company information, which are free-form text and are prone to error, I'm going to use attributes. Do not apply these changes. To programmatically set things like I'm in the UK and I'm in the sales department, for example. If we take a look at Amanda here, we take a look at her attributes. She is in SE as an attribute and marketing. So your tools like SailPoint will push these attributes into your identity solution. Could be cost center, could be things that are organizational unit information, something that's key to your organization that is a single method of saying what policy should apply to a user, what is unique about a user, or what groups users together rather than Active Directory groups and things like that. So these attributes are stored in my Active Directory. They're pushed into my Active Directory by my user management tools, and these are then synchronized across to Azure AD. So they're not attributes that I would see here in the user information, but they are things that I can use. For example, if I look at group management and we search for dynamic, I've got a couple of dynamic groups created here. And so dynamic SE says, well, I'm a member of this group if the extension attribute 1 says I've got this SE attribute. If I look at UK marketing, it says you're a member of this group if you've got the attribute UK and you've also got this second attribute that says marketing, although I think that might actually be incorrect because this one should say attribute 2. Save. So whether it's Azure AD or any other SAML identity provider, it can say, okay, well, remember you've got these attributes about this user, about the person document, and therefore I can dynamically do things with this user and put them in certain groups. And group membership is important for us to be able to apply policy. So if I take a look at my enterprise application here, Zscaler, I'm going to provision users across using SCIM. If we take a look at the provisioning, we're going to do a couple of things. So the group membership comes across and it says if you're a member of a group called Zscaler, or it's a group that says CrowdStrike, or there's the dynamic groups that we've got. Let's take a look at this. It says the display name of the group begins or includes the letters DYNA, then we're going to provision these groups across. Now, what's also interesting is we want to send across user information. And so I'm going to send across all those user information, but I want to also programmatically send across a department. So we already saw in those user documents that there was no department attribute assigned for any of those users. But I can use the regular expression language that Azure provides me here to say, well, if that attribute 1 is UK, and the attribute 2 is sales, then send across the department as UK sales. Whereas if that attribute 2 is marketing, send across UK marketing. And I can rinse and repeat this and say, okay, if it's FR and sales, send FR sales. If it's FR marketing, send FR marketing. the same for SE marketing, and the same for US marketing. So programmatically, based on the attributes that a user has, I want to programmatically send across a department attribute, okay? Rather than statically setting that attribute in the user and having to update that attribute. And again, that attribute is a free form attribute that anybody in AD and even the user themselves might be able to update. These extension attributes are fed into it programmatically by my tool like a SailPoint or whatever for managing the user attributes. Okay, so now we've got attributes of the user. The user is in department UK marketing because they have these attributes, and the user is in a group. There are multiple groups. There are dynamic groups. The user is in this dynamic group because they have these attributes. And departments and group membership are things that I'm going to use for applying policy. So let's go ahead and take a look at this, how this actually looks. Let's just do a provision. And we'll provision on demand just to see how that looks. So if we look for the dynamic group, dynamic SE, we can see that Amanda is in that group, and we can then provision that user across. And the user will flow across. This will tell me it's already done, but it'll say, okay, user is in this group, user operations, and we see all the details of the user. And Amanda has got these attributes about her. And now these attributes are flowing across to ZS login. So here I'm logged into Z Identity here. And so if we take a look at the administration interface for that, we can see we've got the users. We take a look at Amanda here. Amanda. Name, information, and everything. We can see the groups that she is in because these are flown across. She's in Zscaler Secure, Zscaler General, and she's in that dynamic SE group that comes across because of those attributes being assigned to her. We also see that her department is SE Marketing because that has come across via SCIM programmatically as well. We can take a look at Mark here. Mark is in these groups. He's in dynamic UK sales, and he's in a UK additional attributes. He's in UK sales department here. So now we can start to use those attributes in policy. These attributes then flow through from Z Identity into, for example, Zscaler Private Access. We're looking to Zscaler Private Access here. Authentication, user authentication, and we can, in fact, let's take a look at the policy, access policy, and let's add a rule in here. We can say add criteria, user and attributes from that Z Identity. We can say user attributes, the attribute name, department is what comes across. We say the department information comes across for that user. Group attributes, we can say oh, they're not coming across because I haven't actually assigned it across from Z Identity. Service information, make sure those attributes flow across into private access from Z Identity. But the point here is that once we get that group and department information into Zscaler Identity, I can then use those groups and department information in my policy to control access to URL filtering policy, for example, in ZIA. So if we come into Zscaler Internet Access, policy, URL Cloud App Control. I can use the department information to apply policy in here based on the groups the user is a member of, dynamic, or the department information, or the user information. And then I can use that information as well to create role-based administrator control to say only administrators with a certain department attribute can manage that department-based policy and control access from a fully role-based administration access into Zscaler Internet Access and Zscaler Private Access. I hope this is useful. Mark at zscaler.com.